Right. And then to go a little bit further into the low satisfaction, what things do you think would contribute to an eBay employee probably not feeling satisfied?
A lack of recognition, most definitely. We deal with really demanding members on a daily basis. And sometimes I don't think that a lot of our lead department, because they don't deal with these members as often as we do, they don't recognize that, a good pat on the back every once in a while would go a long way in terms of continuing to deal with that constant pushing on your emotions, quite frankly. And so I think that would go a long way if they would start doing more recognition, and not just along lines of metrics, because they definitely reward metrics, and that's fabulous, but that doesn't really speak too much to the emotional toll that this job can take on you.
Great.
It can be a stressful job. You're dealing with people who are calling you, and every call you get is somebody who has a problem. So they're not going to be overly happy. Some are more tolerant than others. But we're all here to work. It can be as stressful as you make it. But I think being surrounded by positive people, especially by a positive supervisor who's not going to stress you out about your stats, but is going to put pressure on you to do better and let you know what your goals should be, I think that's really important, because a lot of times it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I'm a really big advocate of that. And the supervisors that I've had who have stayed positive and who have good attitudes and keep it competitive through our metrics by pushing us, but still staying positive, that's a big plus. So I've been fortunate, but I know some people who have had difficulty with that, and that's something that might have kept them around, is if they had a better time at work. We're all working, but at the same time, doesn't mean you can't have a little fun while you come to work. So.
Sure. For the first one that you mentioned with the intolerance to absenteeism and tardiness, they do talk a lot within the company about a work-life balance. And in coming to the company and feeling with my own life that I would need something like that, I was really excited for that, but quickly found that it was more of a thought at the time, because you are only allowed so many absences. Tardies are highly frowned upon, and then the scale that they have, even for those tardies, doesn't make much sense and is really quite confusing. They also have a lot of different programs that they use to even keep track of those types of things, so there's no continuity to even know where you stand within those, to the point where I even have made myself a little bit sick by coming into work and still working through it, not knowing if I would be able to keep my job, watching a lot of my associates be fired or let go because of those issues. Then in regards to the lack of satisfaction and growth opportunity, they're quite synonymous, I've noticed, with a lot of my associates. Not knowing if they have that opportunity to grow within their department or the company directly seems to correlate to their lack of dissatisfaction, or not their lack of, their complete dissatisfaction with their job. They're not like real kind of go-get-em type of people and being very proactive and trying to own their growth. eBay doesn't make it quite evident in the beginning when you're working for them where you can find those opportunities and even where you would fit, because they're kind of an ever-changing company themselves and constantly kind of revamping all of their different departments. So it can be really frustrating if you're not looking at this as just a job, but maybe trying to find a career opportunity.
I'm a big believer in attitude, that you can teach people skills, but you can't teach attitude, or however you want to put it. I think that's a huge part. I think a lot of people come into work thinking it's just a job to make money, and they don't really look beyond where they can go. So especially in a call center, that's kind of hard to see your potential to go anywhere else, and you always think you're going to be stuck on the phones. So potentially, I think it's kind of part of eBay's responsibility to show people where they can go and their growth potential. I think it can be kind of eBay's fault or eBay's failure to show the agent where they can go, and the agent's fault on aspiring to go to that place. I think it's kind of 50-50. I think one of the main drivers for people who are good employees who have left, or there's a big turnover rate, is they haven't been shown that they're valued, and that's something that I think might cause them to leave eBay or make it easier to leave. Not that that's always the driving factor, but I definitely know we've lost a couple great people because they've been doing great things, but they haven't been shown where they can go or given expectations on how soon they can go to other departments, or to receive other promotions. It's kind of it's a guessing game, and eBay, in their defense, is working on that. But I think that's a big driver, is people don't see their potential and where they can go.
Awesome.
In terms of attendance and tardy policy, they definitely took that head on, and it seems like they took everything employees were expressing in terms of the turnaround for when we can be excused of those absences and such, and made a more succinct policy so that we can have those excused, which would definitely fall in line with work-life balance, because of course people are going to get sick or have issues where they need to take care of those on their own time, and eBay's acknowledged that. They're definitely working harder and being more employee focused, or allowing their managers to be more employee focused by offering exceptions, not just to college students, which of course would help feed their bottom line, because potentially those college students will stay with the company and make the company look better, but they're also validating their members who already have their life kind of in place and still need those accommodations every once in a while. So I feel really secure that if I come to them with a concern in regard to my absences, tardies, or any type of situation where I need some consideration in my schedule, that they're listening to me and making those accommodations. In terms of personal growth or growing with eBay itself, as I kind of mentioned, it did seem like it was just lip service before, but they've implemented some development tracking for all employees, and they've pushed really hard to make sure that we're taking advantage of that by showing us where those things are, working with us, and also pointing out our strengths to put into those growth developments. And that's been awesome to have our peers tell us how they feel we perform as an employee, as well as our leads give us that. Helps us to kind of see things a little more clearly in terms of what we can do. Along that same line, they've allowed us on our work schedule time to actually go and seek out other departments to see, what does that department do, because it's a vast company, and they do compartmentalize a lot of their departments, which is fine. But we don't know what's out there if we don't actually go and see it ourselves. And so I feel like that, offering those opportunities has made a huge difference.